Hello, welcome. If you are new here, please subscribe, thumb up the video, share everywhere, including your YouTube community tab, please and thank you. And also thank you to those who have watched the commercials, the entire commercial without skipping, and thanks for being a YouTube Premium member if you are one, and thank you to all my channel members. I appreciate it. All right. So hopefully you're having a good day, good afternoon, or good evening whenever you watch this. I know I am, because I'm talking about From, and I'll be talking about other television shows in the future for those who are like, I'm frommed out. Today's content has been inspired by the comment section. Playing around with themes going forward. We'll see if it's a hit or miss. So the comment is from the video, The Boy in White Eliminated Christopher and Caused the Town Massacre theory. I like the theories. I like going down the rabbit holes because all the theories is just asking a question and then seeing what in the show we can springboard off of to turn it into possibility as far as an explanation, because the creators, the directors, the writers, they might not give you an explanation, but we can kind of guesstimate where the answer is and just develop a theory off of that. So when people give questions about theories or maybe even pushback, I like that because I like to be able to formulate and really fine tune a theory or an idea. And I think it's a good thought exercise to just ask what if, what about, and just kind of go into that if we're going to go down those type of rabbit holes. Now on this channel, I try to keep it family friendly. Free of profanity, vulgarity, and everything. Every now and then we may do some innuendos. It is what it is. This comment comes from You Raggedy Batch. Okay? You Raggedy BETCH. All right. And so that's a funny username. We'll just call him You Raggedy. It actually comes from a movie called Waiting to Exhale. On the movie Waiting to Exhale, actress Leela Roshan, who plays Robin Stokes, she's breaking it off with this guy that she's been seeing, and they have a back and forth. He asks her, what am I going to tell my mama? And Leela's like, tell her whatever you want to tell her. And then he goes to throw something at her and he says, you raggedy bee. So I'm thinking that's where the username came from. And I'm not going to play the clip because I don't want to be hit with a copyright. It's Waiting to Exhale. That movie came out back in 1995, directed by actor Forrest Whitaker. You Raggedy says, but how did Christopher not see Victor standing there? He didn't even look at him. So does that mean that Victor is time traveling or story walking? So in this theory, I think that Victor has the ability to be invisible, and I'll explain why. But first, have to get to a sponsor for today's video. It comes from Amanda Kenny, and Amanda's donated enough times on this channel to where now she has her own theme music. Yeah, so Amanda Kenny has her own theme music. Let me know if you all like it or not. And Amanda, let me know if you like it or not. I got some more if you don't like that one. But yeah, she got her own theme music. And so she gave a super thanks, sponsored today's video. Really appreciate that. Gave the super thanks on the water and soil are manipulating cells theory. Really appreciate it. And she definitely is fantastic. And also thank you to her for being a channel member. And thank you for everyone who are channel members. I really appreciate it. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. So if you want to support, you can donate through Super Thanks. You can also donate through Cash App. That's $Spade Parkland. watch the commercials in entirety without skipping, and also thumb up the video, comment in the comment section. Everything helps. There are no wrong ways to support the platform and support the channel. So thank you, Amanda, for sponsoring today's video. And also thank you for everyone else who are channel members. And also thank you for everyone who watches all the content and enjoy it. I appreciate it. You keep me motivated to keep coming back and doing more.
You win.
So going back to the comment section, to you, Raggedy. So my response was, when Julie story walked, Martin saw Julie and knew her name. So I don't think that Victor was story walking because of that tidbit right there. And however, maybe the boy in white and Christopher couldn't see him. If he turned invisible somehow, it would make sense why Miranda left Victor and Eloise alone in the root cellar. So the root cellar is supposed to be one of the safest parts in Fromville, because the creatures, they normally go to town when they first start stalking, either to town or they go to Colony House. So places where people normally don't live, like the root cellar, or maybe even the shack out there in the forest where Fatima was after she took out Tilly, are considered to be safe in regards to the creatures, but we know there's other nightmares in the forest, according to Martin. We haven't seen those for whatever reason. Maybe we'll start seeing them season 4. This is Threshold, season 3, episode 8, when Victor is leading Tabitha and Sarah into the church to go into the basement to talk about secrets. And so one thing that I thought was interesting that I really didn't catch the first time I saw season 3, or really didn't think about, is that Victor kept putting Jasper on Sarah's lap and on Tabitha's lap, because Victor, even though he's in his 50s, the last time he really developed was age 10. And he believed that when Jasper was on Christopher's lap, that Jasper was actually real, when in actuality he was just a dummy. And it was Christopher because he's a ventriloquist. That's why Victor was wanting to put Jasper on Sarah's lap and on Tabitha's lap to quote unquote make Jasper talk, because Victor never realized that Jasper was just a dummy, even after his father had said so. Victor had to accept that reality that Jasper was not real, and a lot of watch time was dedicated to that, and they never really said it on the show, but you kind of had to catch that Jasper is just a dummy. He wasn't real. A lot of us wanted him to be real. We wanted him to be a cursed object equivalent to the music box, but in actuality, it was that Christopher was that good as a ventriloquist that he made Jasper come to life in Victor's eyes. And that's the reason why Victor was putting him on Tabitha and Sarah's lap. And then also, I think that when Jasper was having tea time in the tunnels, I think it was because Eloise was playing with Jasper, putting him on tables. In this theory, Victor being invisible would explain how he was able to exist in Fromville for 40 years and not have been caught by the creatures, because we saw that the grandma creature, season 1, episode 1, she had no problem taking out Megan. So tearing apart teddy bears is not above the creatures. The creatures will do it. Eloise and Victor both being invisible or having that ability would not only explain why they were in the root cellar left there by Miranda for her to run around the forest and play Legend of Zelda, if you will, but also the reasons of how Victor was able to survive, and possibly Eloise could be in the tunnels navigating that, and the creatures maybe not bothering her as well. Looking at this basement view, as you can see, here are the steps and the guardrail right here. So anybody who goes past this point, you're going to see them right there in the room. There's no way for someone to enter into the church basement without being noticed. When Boyd came down, when Kenny came down, and Sarah was in the basement, she immediately looked over at them each time. So going into the basement and not being seen, especially because the door opens up and shows light coming down if it's daytime, or the door opening up making a noise, and even these wooden steps right here, I think they're wooden, make a noise. Christopher and the boy in white would definitely notice Victor, especially because when we're going to see in this flashback, Young Victor comes down and he goes at least right here. And he's like looking all in their mouths while they're talking. So there's no way that they couldn't just not notice him. Young Victor doesn't know that he's eavesdropping on people. He's just walking down the steps, similar to how Victor is. Now, you could say, well, maybe young Victor weighed less than Victor is currently, and that's what's making the noise.
It was quiet and I wanted to get closer.
He said he was quiet and wanted to get closer. But how quiet and closer can you be on these steps that are squeaking like that?
When I got...
See how Victor's coming down? Young Victor's not making any sound in this flashback, but he comes down like normally and casually.
I'm on the stairs.
Now look how far he is from the rail. And it's daytime when he comes down the steps. You can see from the background it's daytime, meaning even if he didn't make any noise coming down the steps, the door being opened made a noise. And then the light shining down more than likely lit up the room.
Jasper was telling secrets.
We just saw Victor come down the steps and we saw the actual background of the basement. You see this picture right here where it's completely blackened out, where you can't see what's behind him. In this shot, you see the light from outside. So it's definitely daytime. So you can't say, well, maybe it's dark outside, dark inside. Anytime it's nighttime, remember the creatures are coming. To be indoors and not hiding and it's nighttime is a no-no, because this is pretty much before the talisman stones were found by Boyd. So it's definitely daytime. We definitely see the light. As Victor's coming down past the guardrail, there's no reason that the light wouldn't be shining into the room where he's standing. This is a shot of the room in daytime. You see how lit up it is? Even with him coming down the steps and going past the guardrail and just coming right here, there's the door opening up, the light shining down, and the conversation that Christopher and the boy in white are having. It got intense, but not so intense where Christopher wouldn't look over and just see Victor. You could say, well, maybe the boy in white was occupied, he was stressed out, he was going through some things, doing his boy in white stuff. Okay, if you want to make that argument, but at least Christopher would have glanced over, seen the light coming in from the door opening up, seen Victor standing right there, especially because you can easily see in the room. Now, side note, Victor is an unreliable narrator. So there is that. There is that fact that he's an unreliable narrator. But even with him being an unreliable narrator, we're going to trust the scene as is because season 3 has concluded. Now, season 4, if they revisit this and come to find out, oh, Victor's memory was shot, something else was a part of this memory that was left out. Okay, fair enough. But as of right now, season 3 has concluded and we're going to accept the scene as is. You all see what I see. I know you all are like, nah, this can't be. Ain't no way Victor could be invisible. But I mean, he survived in Fromville by himself for 40 years. No creature action. Coming down the steps. We see the light. He went at least right here because he went beyond the guardrail. He's easily visible in this room, even wearing dark colors, and nobody saw him.
Get your tea and your popcorn, because this is going to be another good one.
Yes, I think that Victor can become invisible. He may have to just develop that skill. It may be something that is involuntary or passive ability. Just like with Sarah talking to the voices in her head, it's more of a passive ability. They'll have control over it. But I think season 4, things may become more active in developing these abilities that we see people have. I mean, even with Boyd, and just hear me out. I'm taking a side step talking about Boyd and the lair and Martin, and then we'll get back to this theory. When Boyd was trying to free Martin from the chains on the wall, he freed Martin from one of the chains, one of his hands from one of the constraints. And then Boyd saw and heard the music box, which I believe is a cursed object. So Boyd saw and heard the music box before he got the worms. When the music stopped, Martin said, we're out of time. slashed Boyd's shoulder, gave Boyd the worms. Boyd went back into town. Boyd saw the music box and saw the ballerina and was with Kenny. Kenny didn't hear or see any of that, but Boyd did. Screenshot on the left, this is Boyd seeing the ballerina, even saw the doors to the root cellar open up, and then here's the cursed object, the music box. Boyd saw and heard both the music box and the ballerina. The ballerina came out of the root cellar. He wasn't dreaming. Came out the root cellar, danced by him, and then this is Boyd seeing the ballerina walk past him or dance past him. And then he asks Kenny, do you see anything? And Kenny's not looking at in both shots. Kenny's not looking at this at all. Kenny's looking at Boyd like, what are you doing? What are you looking at? So Boyd saw the music box and heard it before getting the worms in the lair. And then after he got the worms, he saw and heard the music box plus the ballerina in the real world, wasn't sleeping. He was kind of like in a trance and it was all in his head. So you can't say that it's the actions of the worms that allowed him to see the music box and the ballerina, because he saw it before getting the worms from Martin. So in my opinion, Boyd has some type of ability to be able to see supernatural things and maybe even perceive them. And just the idea of people having these supernatural abilities, not saying this is like X-Men or some MCU stuff or anything like that, but I think it's all about biology. Okay, just walk with me for a second. But I think these abilities come from something dealing with their biology. It's equivalent to like how Superman has his abilities, not from magic or some secret power inside of him, but Superman, talking about the DC character, is able to have his ability, he and Kryptonians, from a yellow sun because of their biology. The way their biology is in their body, they can absorb the energy from the yellow sun. It gives them flight, super strength, laser eyes, X-ray vision, super breath. They can hear things from a long distance, and it's because of their biology. And I think Boyd is the same way with his biology, and maybe that's the reason why he was chosen. I think Miranda and her abilities were awakened when she and Henry had their fun with Smack. Her abilities were awakened, and I think that Victor and maybe even Eloise have abilities where Victor's ability, in my opinion, could be invisibility. Now, I know it's a stretch, it's a yoga stretch, but think about it. Sarah can hear voices in her head, similar to like Professor X, Jean Grey. Boyd can see stuff that's supernatural, and this is before the worms. Ethan has different abilities that we've seen, pointed out in the previous video, but I think that Ethan can story walk, and that's how he was able to tell Julie about story walking, because Ethan can do it too. Ethan may also have an ability similar to Sister Sage on The Boys, how her ability was superhuman intelligence. So I think Ethan also has that, because in addition to possibly he story walking himself, that's how he can explain it to Julie, how he's just really, really smart, but he's really, really young. So it's like he has superhuman intelligence with his ability, but it's limited because he's young. If you haven't seen The Boys and seen Sister Sage, people kind of view her as being the weakest soup because she doesn't have any powers that go outside of herself. But she's played puppet master behind the scenes, orchestrating stuff. And to me, that's kind of equivalent to like how the man in the yellow suit would be how I imagine him, where he has this superhuman intelligence and he's able to play 4 and 5D chess, manipulating stuff and able to get people on a designed path, even though by the end of season 3, they're on a desire path and they've gone off the rails. I think The Boy in White is pretty much the same way, where they're playing 4D chess, 5D chess. They're story walking, manipulating, telling people this and do that. And they're just trying to get people to a designed path or outcome of a designed path. But people are more on a desire path since they're figuring stuff out on their own, making their own choices. And I doubt that the path that the man in yellow suit and the boy in white want people on is what the designed path is for either of them. So back to the room. So again, the room, light, somewhat visible, enough visibility where you can see the stuff in the corner, and I could tell this is a chair. I mean, you can't see it because of my head, but you could pretty much tell what these objects are in the background because it's visible enough to be able to see stuff. So Victor is creeping down the steps. We see young Victor do it again. He's past the end part of the guardrail on the steps.
I'm on the stairs.
So at this shot right here, we see Victor. We clearly see what's behind him, which is the wall, and it's well lit. And he goes there to that position and he stops.
Jasper was telling secrets.
Now, in this next shot, we no longer see the wall at all. We don't even see the light that's in the corner because he went to a position and he stopped. He didn't walk forward in the rest of the scene. He got into that position and he stopped. Victor is right there. Nothing is impeding visibility like a desk or some type of, altar where he's behind it, preaching where you can't see him. He's not crouching. He's not hiding. He's standing straight up. Standing straight up. Look at me. I'm staring right in your face. I can see you. I can hear you. And I think that the reason why this back part right here is blackened out or where you can't see it is because this is the director, writer, creators, maybe all three. This is their way of communicating to us in this theory. This is their way of communicating to us, the audience, that Victor is in the room, but now he's passively using an invisibility ability equivalent to Sarah hearing the voices, Boy being able to see supernatural objects, in addition to Tilly being able to tell that Fatima was pregnant. Season 2, all these abilities, including Elgin having prophetic dreams. We've seen, in my opinion, we've seen a preponderance of evidence where there's enough reasonable belief that Victor and other people, but in this theory, in this video, Victor has the ability to be invisible, and that's how he's eavesdropping and getting the tea to give to Tabitha and Sarah. And you see how Victor looked over and now he's seeing Christopher standing up, yelling at Jasper. And again, you got to take it with a grain of salt because Victor is seeing Christopher sit down, yelling at Jasper, but we know that Jasper was really the boy in white. He even remembers the scene differently. Take it with a grain of salt, but you're in your 50s. Remembering something from when you're 10 is very hard to do, especially when you're dealing with trauma. So he's doing a very good job to remember what he does remember, if it is true, based off the fact that you have trauma and you're talking about 40 years ago. I think he's doing a pretty good job.
Christopher got angry.
And see, there's Jasper slouched over. And again, the subdued background.
No, that's not right.
Victor is just eavesdropping, getting the tea.
Was it Jasper?
Okay, so now the scene's a little bit different. But one thing to note is that Jasper was there and everything else in the room that was positioned there was there. And look at the fact that Christopher is looking at the boy in white. The boy in white has his fists balled up like he's at the position of attention, getting ready to punch Christopher in the face. We covered this in a video last year, but it's reasonable to believe that Christopher would have at least glanced over and seen Victor, and the boy in white would have been like, "Who are you looking at?" Seen Victor and been like, "Oh, let's stop talking. We're sharing secrets. We don't want Victor to know." So I think that Victor was able to tell Miranda about this conversation because he went invisible and was able to hear everything and get even close enough to perhaps even hear if they were whispering. Because again, Victor was telling Sarah that in the basement of the church is where you share secrets, and he was getting all of the information.
It was the boy in white. He was the one that was down here. He was the one who was telling secrets to Christopher.
And that's why I think Victor calls it secrets, because they were whispering and weren't really trying to let anybody else know. So it's kind of like if it's you and someone else in a room together, you don't know who's upstairs. You don't care who's upstairs. Even though it's intense, you're still going to be whispering if it's a secret. I would be. I don't know. Maybe you all would be like, it's a secret. I don't really care. I'm going to do what I do. If that's what you do, then cool. But they were down there not just simply together, but actually whispering this stuff. And that's why Victor saw it as a secret.
So basically the folks or whoever was in charge, they pulled some shenanigans.
Exactly. Pulling some shenanigans. Victor, in my opinion, has the ability of being invisible. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section your thoughts. Thumbs up the video, share to your social media, subscribe, click the notification bell. Thanks for watching. Go forth, do great things, and I'm out. Peace.